it's probably like their answer for Ford. But they put a damn Whipple blower on a 5.7. Well, how much damn power is gonna have? I cannot believe I forgot to make a video about this, but this Ram 1500 that we saw at Roadkill Nights is probably the most important thing that was there at the entire event, and maybe the most important thing that happened this year to Ram, to Direct Connection, and pretty much everybody else, because this Ram truck had a 5.7 liter Whipple Stage Kit on it, and this could be something that I talk to people around at Roadkill Nights, and this could be something that we see on future models. So let's talk about this Ram 1500 with the Stage Kit, because this right here could be what stage 3 for a lot of these vehicles who are needing stage kits. They could all get Whipples. And so this is very exciting, and we're going to talk about it right now.
And oh my God, what do we have here? We have a Ram with a mother effing Whipple on it.
I didn't know you can do that with a damn e-torque.
And an e-torque. This thing has got to be fast after all.
They must have had damn Whipple designed it around the e-torque.
This is the Whipple right here. Now, most likely...
Up to 180 horsepower.
Up to 180 horsepower. Extra 180 horsepower. There you have it.
Okay, well, we're 51,000 friends, and the 52% of you guys who watch these videos, by hitting the subscribe button, let's go ahead and talk about this situation with this Ram 1500 with the actual stage kit on it. Now, we went to Roadkill Nights and we went around the event and stuff. We was not really paying attention to this Ram 1500 pickup truck, right? It looked just like some regular garden variety pickup truck, and we wasn't really paying attention to graphics and stuff because, in all honesty, they didn't have the whole booth set up for it, where they had like the Whipple and all that stuff out there on display when we went there during the actual media portion of the event. But once me and TK started talking to other people and stuff, and they told us that, hey, yeah, check out this Ram 1500 that's over there on display right there in front of the Thrill Rides area. This right here could be very significant. And to me and TK, we think this is very significant because this right here shows that Direct Connection, SRT, and Ram is not necessarily going to use the blowers that normally come on supercharged HEMIs. So they're not necessarily going to use a regular Hellcat, the Red Eye, and the D170 blowers to put on other models, which is something I thought they would do because that's something that they already sell. But this situation right here with its Whipple on this Ram 1500, to me is very significant because, for one thing, this right here is the e-torque version. So this particular supercharger kit will allow pretty much anyone who has any version of the Ram 1500 with a 5.7 liter HEMI on there, especially with that goofy e-torque system and stuff, you better instantly go from like, what, 300-400 horsepower to like 600 horsepower with just this stage kit. And from when we were talking to my dear friend Tim Kaniskis and the vendors and stuff, they were saying this kit should come around like $10,000 in that general range for this actual kit. And it should come with just the supercharger. I think the exhaust system, I don't know if that's part of the package or not, that's just an add-on to it. But we do know from what we were talking about to people that, yeah, this is something that's coming pretty soon. They just didn't have like pricing and final numbers available yet because they're still waiting on things to get done. And I have a sneaking suspicion that they're waiting on CARB to allow them to have an authorization to sell this in CARB states, which CARB is still rolling his head around because after talking to a bunch of people there at the event, they still got to go through CARB certification. And as you guys know, with stage kits, CARB, basically California was the #1 reason why those stage kits was unavailable for like, what, 3-4 years? Because they introduced them back in what, 2020, 2021 timeframe, and they didn't come out until they actually announced the Demon 170 that they was going to actually get approval for some of the stage kits they already had out there. But I did talk to people maybe like a year or two ago, and they said that pretty much all the stage kits that they were going to do were already said and done for. They're just waiting on certifications in order to actually release them. And this Ram one right here with his actual Whipple, that is very significant to me because that goes to show that they will actually go and put superchargers on these vehicles that didn't necessarily have blowers in there. So I was very shocked to see that even just a 5.7, it would get a blower. And that's very significant from the last time they did stage kits for the 5.7 392, where they basically did like a bolt-ons and stuff like that to get more power out there, but it wasn't really that much of a performance boost. But now seeing that they're going to actually put Whipples on actual 5.7s and 392s, I don't know about the 392 version, but I'm having to assume that if they're going to put a 5.7 blower you know, on the actual Ram 1500, they gotta do a 392 next. And I think a 392 is next because 392 is gonna be in multiple models. I mean, they're gonna have it in the Durango, they're gonna have it in the Ram 1500, because we've been hearing word around the campfire that we've been hearing that they're gonna actually start put a 392 Hemi inside of some of the more high cost Ram trucks. Like I don't know about the RHO, but I know that the Limited and the Tungsten are two models that they're talking about putting the 392 in. That way the 5.7 is stops at like the Laramie and stuff, and then boom, the RHO is kind of skipped over, and they're gonna get a 392 at the Limited and the Tungsten. I think the 392 in RHO will be a pretty good idea. That way they can go back and forth between somebody who wants a Hurricane inline 6 RHO or RHO 392. I think that'd be a great option to Ram consider dropping that 392 into that vehicle. But going back to the stage kit, I think this is very significant for the entire lineup, because you can imagine as the whole brand Stellantis is going back to putting Hemis in their vehicles, this could give you an option to have a very cheap vehicle and then go and add a blower on top of it and get near Hellcat performance, especially the 5.7 Hemi, right? Because imagine you had the Durango, the GT with the 5.7 in there. You can go get this blower kit done on it and bam, have near 600 horsepower for a fraction of the cost compared to basically buying a Durango Hellcat. Durango Hellcat gonna start off at $79,000. You can get a Durango GT start off around like 42 grand, somewhere around there. So you're thinking for under 60 grand, you can literally get a 600 horsepower Durango. And I think that's very attractive and very enticing to give people more performance for less dollars and give people performance across the entire range. You don't necessarily have to go and buy the Durango Hellcat, the 392 or the Red Eye Supercharged, whatever, right? They get decent performance. You can go buy you a basic budget 5.7, get a supercharger kit, and bam, I think it's gonna be more horsepower for the masses. Cause that was exactly the word that basically Matt McAleer has said to me, there's gonna be more horsepower for the masses.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, like, cause that's one thing we all been like, man, I wish Dodge would just lower the prices, Lodge, lower the prices. And then everything just went down across the board. All the regular prices kind of like they jumped down like a different trim level, like 5.7 jumped down to GT and the 392 jumped down to with the RT.
More horsepower for the masses.
Yeah.
And I think this supercharger kit is gonna be what they do to actually do that. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be very excited to see when the stage kit actually comes out and hopefully see it apply to more models. Because for right now, the 5.7 really is only what the Durango, about it. Durango, and they're gonna be in the Ram 1500. But hoping that we'll set the 5.7 go into like the Grand Cherokee, maybe go back into like the Wagoneer models. I'm hoping they will put it in the actual Charger, which I think is gonna come sooner rather than later, put a Hemi inside of the Charger and stuff. But they should spread the 5.7 out to like multiple models, 392 to multiple models, Hellcat to multiple models, especially with no cafe fines and no CARB fines. And I know, like when I told you guys during the Durango video that I made, that the Durango, Hellcat, and 392 is banned in California. This could be Stellantis' way to get around CARB by offering 5.7 versions of a lot of cars, and then you can go get a direct connection supercharger kit to put on there, which would pass CARB. So that might be why we might not see this actual stage kit, the 5.7 version, for a while. But hopefully they'll be able to get around CARB stuff and actually go and do it. I know California is going to be like the real tough one, because as I showed you guys in a previous video, that Stellantis has a separate agreement with CARB to keep pushing the EVs to that one state. But other states who basically follow CARB, that they don't necessarily have that agreement with to push mainly EVs to that state, this 5.7 Hemi could be your way if you live in one of those other, I think, 12 CARB states, to where you can get near Hellcat power, even though Hellcats and 392s are banned in California, those other CARB states. Just like I showed you guys in my Durango video, where I showed you guys that it says on the order guide that the Durango 392 and Durango Hellcat are only in federal states only. So this 5.7 kit could be huge. So instead of having people only having Hurricanes and EVs in those CARB states, you can get 5.7 versions. And I think the 5.7 is gonna make a very big comeback to a lot of different models, that where they can put it in those states. And I know people be like, well, the 5.7 is slower than the actual Hurricanes, but it's not gonna matter, because they can go get a stage kit for 10 extra grand. And basically, Stellantis is basically giving you the stage kits for free. Because if you look at it, like I said, on some of these models, the price that went down 5-10 grand. And so the stage kit is like 10 grand. you're basically getting spotted money to get back into like the same price the vehicle would have been before the whole emission stuff got knocked out. So this right here, I'm saying, is very significant to me to see this 5.7 Stage Kit. And I think this right here is just the stepping stone to seeing 5.7s get to what, I don't know exactly how much horsepower 5.7 has. I don't really pay attention because I don't buy the slow versions of vehicles. But from what that paper has said at Roadkill Nights, that they're looking at getting 5.7 equipped vehicles around 600 horsepower. So I had to assume that 392, if they did like a stage kit for it, probably get around 700-ish horsepower. And then hopefully, like, you know, other vehicles like, you know, things that have like D170 engines like mine, I hope that we get like a Whipple blower kit for ours. That way we can go up to like, I don't know, 11, 1200 horsepower in our vehicle. So just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. I would love to see a Whipple stage kit for my D170. Just saying. But this is something that's very cool because, like I said, last time I've seen any mention of stage 3 kits was basically a few years ago when I made that one video about it, and basically Direct Action took it off their website. But they were saying for stage 3 they were going to make E85 versions of it for certain vehicles. Now I don't know whether or not they're going to do E85 for these 5.7 HEMI versions. I didn't get rid of that far with them because there was like a little sheet that was inside of the truck, but it didn't say anything about E85 on there. It was just saying I think like 91 octane was going to be 180 plus horsepower, whatever, right? Now, when on Whipple's website, I didn't really see anything about E85 on there, but I'm hoping that for certain models, there will be E85 versions of this kit, and that can bring out a ton more fun. I did tell Tim Conditions to his face that I want 1,000 horsepower E85 version of vehicles, especially like the Durango, the TRX. Like, I think that would be like selling like wild cakes for people who want some more performance and more power. And hey, I would love to have SRT have the 1,000 only club, where literally they have so many models, like 1,000 only horsepower. I would love to be in that club, but that's another video for another day. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this 5.7 HEMI Supercharger kit, this stage kit, is like the most important thing ever? Because this right here, like I said, literally every vehicle going forward, if they keep it up and have this kit available for literally every single 5.7 version of the vehicle, you can have basically, I say, Hurricane performance, because Hurricanes are 550 horsepower. You can have Hurricane performance with not having that Hurricane sound, right? So I think this is great to my eyes. I think this is the most important development. And I think this right here is a great way to give people who live in CARB states the option between having a lawnmower sounding Hurricane and a HEMI sounding vehicle right around on the same equal footing, on the same playing field. But like I said, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Oh yeah, if you want to see the video that I made about the E85 stage 3 kits that they're going to put on like Red Eyes and Super Stock, stuff like that, you can check out this video right here. And I hope they will apply it to like vehicles like the TRX and Durango have E85 versions. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And until the next time, I am out.